everybody, welcome back to the channel. I thank you so much for tuning in today. As you can tell by the title, this is my birthday dress. So let's get into it. It will be a quick review, but first I want to welcome those who are new to the channel and welcome back to those who continue to tune in from week to week. Of course, this is BHM Pattern Designers Sewing Challenge month, all month long. You have between February 1st and February 28th to stitch, to knit, to crochet, to quilt, to sew whatever garment, whatever item, a bra, whatever it is that you would like to make. But of course, the pattern designer must be a black pattern designer, and listed on my website are several indie pattern designers. Plus, of course, you can use your commercial that you're familiar with that are black pattern designers. So make sure, if you have not visited the website, I will leave a link to it down below. And don't forget some of our sponsors. Again, shout out to all of our sponsors. A few of our sponsors have offered discount codes for you to use throughout the month of February. As a matter of fact, I'm actually in the middle of getting dressed, and I figure I better come in and do this video real quick. But I am wearing, and I think, yeah, I'll be able to edit and pop in a picture, but this is the Montoya Mayo Tory wrap coat pattern. And so I made this actually last year. The fabric I used is my fabric that is offered over on Spoonflower. So I use that to make this. And so we are actually today heading to, the day I'm recording this, we're heading to a Cirque du Soleil show. For those who are familiar with Cirque du Soleil, most of the time, I know they travel in different states and stuff like that, but a lot of their shows are in Las Vegas, and so we always enjoy going to those shows. And so my husband bought tickets for us to go this afternoon. So I am in the middle of getting dressed, and I was like, let me hurry up and record this video before I finish getting dressed. But so this is a Khaliah Ali pattern, excuse me, for Simplicity. It is Simplicity 3893. It is out of print, but you can, I bought this back in 2020 because I made this pattern before. I bought it back in 2020 off of Etsy. So do your Google research. You'll probably find it on Etsy, could be on eBay, but you might find it. Usually when I find patterns like this that are out of print, I usually have better luck finding them over on Etsy. So I do want to start out by saying, also, let me tell you how it started out. It started out with Thursday, the day before my birthday, because my birthday is the 7th. And so the day before my birthday, so today I'm filming this, is the 8th in the afternoon. And so the day before my birthday, I went and got my hair done, right? And so as I was coming home and I was pulling up our block, and I thought, oh, look at our neighbors, they're celebrating something, because I saw this birthday lawn sign, and I'll pop up video in the picture. And I noticed as it got closer, I was like, wait, that has my name on it. Family calls me Kim, but anyway. And so that was a funny surprise. It was such a nice surprise. My husband surprised me with that. And so I did take pictures in front of the sign and everything, and all of that, and of course took pictures of the sign. And so that was absolutely awesome. Then the day of my birthday, when I wore the dress, we went out to dinner too. So for those who are in the Houston area, you may very well be familiar with this restaurant, and definitely comment down below if you are. It is Willie G's Seafood. That was our first time going there, and when I tell you, that food was delicious. I got a sea bass, and I'll probably pop up pictures too. I got a sea bass. It was a sea bass special that had shrimp on the top and crab meat, and then they had their it was called the what is it called, crab seafood rice or something that they're famous for. And so it came as part of that special, and so I got that. Then my husband got they had a different special, the Wagyu beef, the steak that had, what do they call it, bone marrow butter or something like that, and then it had crab and lobster on top of that. When I tell y'all, that food was so good. And I don't eat steak, I'm not a steak person, but I tasted his steak in that butter. Oh my gosh, tender, so tender. And then of course we had several drinks. It was just a really, really good night. Very, very good dinner. Beautiful day out. But today we're getting ready to head to another show because my husband bought us tickets. So Simplicity 3893. This time, the first time I made this, I did, and I'll pop it up here on the screen, I did view B. And I remember I didn't necessarily see the notes written in my pattern, but that casing underneath the breast area, that is supposed to have elastic in it, or one of the versions have a tie. A couple of the versions have, you can do ties, but the other ones have casing where you will run elastic through. I can remember when I first made this a few years ago that I did not do that. I don't believe I did that elastic, because for me, typically being fuller bust and a little bit of a belly here, elastic around this, especially the under bust area, for me, just I don't like the way that looks on me. It just looks like it's just too much going on up in there. So I eliminated it before, and I also eliminated it this time. I just gathered in the bodice piece into the skirt, and that's all I did, because I just wanted to, I didn't want anything, tucking in. And I did extend the skirt piece. So the good thing about this pattern is I remember from the last time that skirt piece, the bottom piece underneath the bodice front and back is long, and I remember it went over my hip. It was pretty long, almost tunic like, and so I was like, oh, I should be good with just extending this down far enough to eat up the fabric. And when I tell you guys, I had to play with the front. I guess you probably can't even tell in the picture, but I did have to adjust the front, because I extended that skirt piece by 7 inches, but I couldn't, and the front and back need to be cut on the fold. Well, I didn't have enough to cut the front and back on the fold, so I figured I took the front and decided, I was like, oh, maybe that can be a feature where it looks like there's a little bit of gathering. I can make it look at the bottom. It didn't quite work out like that. You can barely even tell, because I had to cut the piece that I extended and put it instead of on the grain, cross grain, and then cut that out. And so, but anyway, it still looks fine. And so I didn't have enough fabric I just had enough to finish this, make this into the dress that I wanted it to be. I'm super happy with it. It is a rayon challis. This is, remember I told you it was a Mimi G Riley Blake design, Riley Blake fabric designed by Mimi G, and I believe it came off the Melanated Fabrics site. I think I've had it since, oh, it's been about almost 4 years that I had it, and always wanted to know what I wanted to do with it. What will I do with it? And so, you know what, you guys, I'm telling a fib. I did not get this from Melanated Fabrics. I got this from Destashify. Unfortunately, Destashify is no longer. She closed back in December. Carrie closed the shop back in December. That's where I got this from about 2 years ago. And that's where I got it from. I didn't get it from Melanated Fabrics. Somebody on Destashify was selling this, because I always did a search, usually for all fabric. I do a search in purple, pinks, my colors. And so I remember this popping up, and I just bought it. That's where I got it from, Destashify. I didn't get this from Melanated Fabrics. And so anyway, long story short, I had just enough to do what I wanted to do with the dress. As you can tell in the front, and you'll see pictures and everything. I don't think I got video of me twirls, but I got pictures of me in it. This V, I knew I was gonna have to wear I didn't want to cross it over further or anything like that. I'm fine with wearing a cami, so I already had my mini cami. Pulled that out and wore that underneath, and I had my jewelry on. But I absolutely love view D, because it is sleeveless, but it's a long enough grown on sleeve where it still comes down at a good length on me. I like how it looks. And then all you're doing is adding elastic casing at the top that draws it in, just how it looks on the pattern. You're supposed to do 2 rows of 1/4 inch elastic, but I just did 1 row of 1/2 inch elastic. And it turned out fine to me. The other thing that I will say, I finally used up the last, so I have 3 different bindings on here around the neckline. I'll come up closer. Actually, let me just show you real quick what all of the binding looks like, because yeah, we got different colors going on, but I'm gonna share it with you anyway. So around the neckline, I have this satin pink, like this pink, and it was the last of that. It was just enough to go around this neckline, and that's all I had of that. Then from, if you all remember when I went to High Fashion Fabrics, I have this. This was like a lavender. Hopefully you can see that. It's like a lavender that I had, that I did around the arms. Then around the hem, I had this single fold elastic from Joann's that I had. So that's what I put around the hem. So as you can tell, I had some Tetris going on with the binding. So I finally used this all up. I actually I had this forever. I got this when Karina, if any of you watch her, Karina from Lifting Pins and Needles, she lived in, I feel like she lived in Chile, Bosnia. I might be getting that wrong. I forget where she was at the time, where her husband was stationed at the time. But I remember we were talking, and when she was leaving, we were talking about the binding, because she talked about it a lot and how inexpensive it was where she was living at the time. So I paid her, but I had her send me, I think I had like 4 or 5 colors, and so I'm just now getting through this one. Yeah, that was several years ago, so I'm so happy I had that. And then the binding I got from High Fashion Fabrics. I had enough of this lavender to put on the hem, but that is wider binding, and what I found is it was a little wavy. I think I should have cut it down for sure, because it didn't, I found my stitches a little wavy in that area. It went in fine, but I was like, yeah, I think that binding is way too wide. And so for the bottom, I just used the single fold. I really should have cut that down to prevent some of that waving in the just a little bit in the fabric when I was sewing it around. But when I tell, if you have this pattern, I say whip it out, because it only took me a day to do it. It's super easy. I've made it before. I knew exactly what I was doing. It was only 4 pattern pieces, and if you count the elastic guide and all that, then you got elastic guide for the waist, and then for here, so that will make it 6 pattern pieces. But I didn't use actually I did use the guide for the shoulder piece, because I didn't want it to come in too much, and I was like, I'll just trust for the shoulder piece, use their guide. So I did. So that's 5 pattern pieces, front, back, and then you have the front and back bodice pieces. So I absolutely loved it. It was a beautiful day. Absolutely enjoyed wearing it, and it was perfect because, you guys, it is hot. I do apologize if you guys hear the fan, because it is right above the camera. I have the window open. We got the windows open because it's hot, but it's a nice breeze, so we haven't cut on the air just yet. But anyway, so that is my make for my birthday. I absolutely love how it turned out. I loved wearing it. Absolutely wonderful. You'll probably see this. I'll probably, if I remember, pop in pictures here when I edit this video later this evening, or you'll see it over on Instagram or whatever, a short or something like that. But anyway, thought I would share with you what I made for my birthday. Super duper easy, and I think that's all I have for this week. Stay tuned for Wednesday. I'm not quite sure what Wednesday will be. I'm thinking I'm going to remake something else that I made previously, because I got some fabric in, and yeah, actually I can show you the fabric from Zesty Couture, who's also a sponsor, but I did pay for this. 6 yards of this Ankara, and isn't that beautiful? So yeah, we shall see what I do with this. I think I'm gonna remake something I've made before, but we shall see. We shall see. This had a couple ideas running through my head for this. All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you are working on your projects. Let me know in the comments what you're working on, and yeah, let all of us know. And make sure, don't forget the rules. You got to tag So Natural Dang, you got to tag BHM Pattern Designers, and you must use the hashtag BHM Pattern Designers 25. All right, everybody, have a blessed one, and we will see you on Wednesday. Bye.